What would you do if your deepest secret could destroy everything you've built? A college party takes a terrifying turn when students discover something massive lurking in the darkness. Screams pierce the night as phones capture what should never be seen. But this is only the beginning of a nightmare that will shatter lives forever. Meet Suchan Jang, the perfect college student with everything going for him. As he jokes with his friend about humans with insect wings, his enthusiasm seems innocent enough. His buddy questions what could possibly be appealing about bug wings. Little does anyone know, Suchan's casual fascination hides a truth that would terrify them all. Suchan reveals his social empire. 5,000 Instagram followers, perfect grades, endless popularity. He positions himself as the apex predator of college social hierarchy, wearing his success like a crown. But as he analyzes human behavior, comparing it to animals, one truth becomes clear. Every food chain has its secrets, and Suchan guards the most dangerous one of all. Campus life seems perfect until concern creeps in. His friend questions whether Suchan should be hanging out with other girls, their protective instincts kicking in. When Mihui appears with her bright pink hair and cheerful smile, calling out to him, the dynamic shifts. Something about this moment feels different, more fragile, more dangerous. As Mihui excitedly agrees to join them for drinks, the group's playful energy fills the air. But suddenly, Suchan clutches his chest as a violent throb courses through him. His face contorts in distress as his body betrays him. While his friends tease about dating and make light conversation, Suchan fights an internal battle they can't see. Desperation forces Suchan to lie. He claims illness, needing to escape before his secret tears him apart. His friends are baffled. This isn't like him. As he walks away alone, wrestling with pathetic excuses, the weight of his deception grows heavier. Every step takes him further from the life he's built, and closer to the truth he's been running from. In the campus shadows, Suchan reflects on the universal truth. Everyone has secrets they desperately hide. He watches a blonde student who once radiated confidence, now walking alone in isolation. The parallels are haunting. That boy lost his courage and now keeps to himself. Suchan realizes with growing dread, they're not so different after all. Behind closed doors, the mask finally falls. Suchan stands before his mirror, questioning why he should worry about weakness when he's so popular. But as he undresses, the shocking truth is revealed. Massive dragonfly wings stretch from his back, beautiful and terrifying. This is his reality, a monster hiding in plain sight. Suchan's mind drifts to his past trauma. He recalls the day in junior high when he accidentally sprayed a dragonfly with bug killer, watching it turn to dust. The memory is vivid. Inhaling the particles, getting violently sick, fainting from the horror. What seemed like childhood disgust was actually the beginning of his transformation. The crushing weight of realization hits. Suchan trembles as he comprehends the full scope of his condition. Will people see him as a monster? Will he be taken away for experiments? The fear consumes him as he huddles under his blanket, gripping his knees in terror. This secret has isolated him completely, and there's no escape. Years of loneliness ate away at Suchan's soul. The pain became unbearable, driving him to desperate measures. When college offered a fresh start, he made a choice that would change everything. Standing before a hair salon's bright windows, he decided to transform himself. If he couldn't change what he was, he would change who he appeared to be. The transformation worked. Suchan became anyone he wanted to be, building the perfect social facade. But now, in the bathroom with Mihui approaching, his carefully constructed world threatens to crumble. His wings ache with neglected pain, demanding attention. As he struggles at the sink, one truth becomes clear. He can't run for what he is forever. The secret tears at Suchan's body. If he doesn't stretch his wings regularly, the pain becomes unbearable. That's why he fled so suddenly from his friends. But as he finally gives his wings freedom, Mihui's voice shatters his solitude. Her shocked exclamation about his pants creates an awkward moment. She can't see what's really happening. Mihui explains she found his door open, following his friend's instructions to meet for drinks. But her concern cuts deeper as she reveals she's noticed his pattern, always leaving suddenly, always looking sick. Her worried questions probe at his carefully maintained lies. Suchan's face shows pure terror as she asks if there's something he's not telling her. Trapped in the bathroom, Suchan struggles with his response. He can't think of anything convincing to say, his mind racing with panic. The silence stretches between them as Mihui watches him with growing concern. Finally, she suggests they leave, her voice carrying a weight of unspoken understanding. But can they really just walk away from this moment? The confrontation escalates as someone demands Mihui join them, refusing to wait. They can see through her excuse of being sick, recognizing the stress she's trying to hide. The aggressive insistence creates a tense standoff. Mihui sits vulnerably on the bathroom floor, caught between her need for privacy and the mounting pressure from outside.
Despite everything, Mihui reflects on how glad she was when someone showed interest in her. Suchan, now composed, offers emotional support. If she ever needs help, he hopes she can share her burdens with him. The moment turns tender as Mihui thanks him gratefully. But then Suchan shifts gears, asking about their movie plans with a suggestive tone.
On the city street, Mihui wrestles with an impossible decision. She knows she can never share her secret, but believes revealing it might be the right choice. In the shadows, something sinister emerges. A predatory voice announces it can smell prey, turning the atmosphere deadly. Just as danger closes in, a car horn honks, an innocent greeting that contrasts sharply with the lurking threat. Two college students approach Mihui with what seems like an innocent survey request. She eagerly volunteers, delighted when they give her a lollipop for participating. Meanwhile, Suchan watches from a distance, anxiety creeping across his face. As he contemplates the possibility of actually dating Mihui, panic overwhelms him. His scream echoes through the theater, startling everyone around him. In the darkened theater, Mihui worries about a spilled drink, while Suchan's thoughts turn dangerous. He questions whether he could ever tell her the truth about what he is. The risk feels overwhelming. What if revealing his secret destroys everything? As suspenseful scenes play on screen, his internal terror mirrors the movie's tension. The audience reacts with shock, but Suchan's fear runs deeper than any film. Suddenly, the theater plunges into darkness. Confused murmurs fill the air as patrons wonder about a blackout. Then terror strikes. Someone announces an armed man is inside the building, urging immediate evacuation. The mood shifts from confusion to pure panic. Just as the crowd begins to process the threat, violence erupts. A weapon swings through the darkness, and blood splatters across the chaos. Screams pierce the theater as people realize the horror is real. A frightened boy pleads for help, while others rush toward the exits in pure terror. The crowd's panic is infectious. Someone shouts that the attacker will kill them all. As people witness what might be an actual death, the question hangs heavy in the air. Did someone just die right before their eyes? The attacker reveals his true nature, a winged monster hunting for prey. A terrified student realizes this can't be real as the creature's monstrous hands reach for him. The beast grins with savage delight, recognizing something familiar about his victim. This isn't random violence, it's targeted hunting. The monster knows exactly what he's looking for, and he's found it. The truth explodes into the open. The attacker reveals he's not the only one who used jungle juice, that mysterious bug spray that changes everything. After his transformation, he developed an enhanced sense of smell, able to detect others like him. His victim's sweet scent drives him wild with hunger. To this predator, fellow insects are the most delicious prey of all. Just as the monster prepares to feast, Mihui appears from the bathroom hallway. She explains she couldn't find Suchan during the evacuation, her innocent concern cutting through the deadly atmosphere. The creature's rage explodes. No one interrupts his precious mealtime. With savage fury, he turns toward this new target. Suchan's protective instincts kick in as he screams for Mihui to run. Outside the theater, police maintain a perimeter while a desperate woman begs to enter and help those trapped inside. The crowd watches in horror as a figure falls from the building. Someone screams to look up as the dark silhouette of the attacker taunts his victims from above. The bystanders realize with growing terror, someone is about to fall to their death, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. High above the crowd, Suchan faces an impossible choice. If he reveals his wings to save a life, everything he's built will crumble. The gathered people below represent his worst nightmare, public exposure. His perfect life hangs in the balance. As he apologizes to Mihui in his heart, knowing what he must do, the weight of sacrifice becomes clear. Sometimes being a hero means losing everything. The moment of truth arrives with explosive force. The crowd below points and shouts in disbelief as something impossible unfolds before their eyes. The sound of rushing air cuts through the chaos as a figure leaps into action. Mihui's scream pierces the night as she falls alongside the one person willing to risk everything to save her. This is the moment that changes everything. Suchan catches Mihui mid-fall, his protective embrace the only thing between her and death. The monster above laughs maniacally, taunting them about their impossible situation. Even insect humans can't survive this height. He jeers. As they plummet together, Suchan realizes his worst fears are coming true. He could lose everything he's worked for. But Mihui is worth the sacrifice. In the chaos of falling bodies and supernatural powers, Suchan makes his choice. Energy bursts around him as he abandons all pretense of normalcy. The dark-haired monster screams in shock, unable to comprehend what he's witnessing. As the truth about hidden secrets comes to light, one fundamental rule becomes clear. Showing your private details to others is the ultimate risk. From the crowd below, other insect humans watch in amazement. One figure observes that Suchan has revealed his powers in the middle of the city, exposing his greatest weakness to the world. Another mysterious girl appears impressed by the display, calculating whether they should attack or pursue a different strategy. The hunter has become the hunted, and new players enter the game. A confident girl with striking blue highlights suggests taking Suchan back to their school. The crowd below erupts in confusion as they try to process what they've witnessed. Someone saved the falling girl by flying, but those wings can't possibly be real. The impossible has happened in broad daylight, and hundreds of witnesses are struggling to accept what their eyes have shown them. Suchan soars through the cityscape with natural grace, his dragonfly wings carrying him and Mihui to safety. He's never flown before, yet the movement feels instinctive. A voice from below analyzes his flight pattern. Only one insect can fly with such precision. Jungle Juice has given him dragonfly DNA, but his rescue has come at a terrible cost that's only beginning to unfold. With a massive impact that shakes the building, the threat is neutralized. But a long-haired girl scolds the defeated attacker about the chaos he's caused. Running around the city, killing innocent people, posting videos online, he's violated every rule of their hidden existence. The world cannot know about their kind. Now cleanup becomes the priority, and consequences must be faced. 1 month later, campus life continues, but everything has changed. Students watch clips of the theater incident on their phones, obsessing over footage of the winged figure. The semester nears its end, yet the mystery consumes everyone's attention. A classmate insists the person looks exactly like Suchan Jang. In the background, a hooded figure listens nervously. The hunt has begun. The newspaper declares the Bugman story a hoax, but Juin knows better. As she stares at the headline, memories flood back to a birthday party 12 years ago. Young children sang happy birthday to Junwoo, their innocent voices filling the air. But even then, there were questions about who deserved celebration. The past and present blur together in troubling ways. The lonely boy reflects on his isolation. No family, no friends, the same story repeating itself across the years. All he ever wanted was friendship, but something makes him different from everyone else. As other children enjoy meals together, he watches from the sidelines, wondering what he did wrong. The pattern of exclusion follows him wherever he goes. Frustration boils over as Suchan confronts his pursuers. They claim they just want to see if the rumors about his wings are true, but their intentions feel threatening. His friend expresses regret about missing a chance to catch him during some previous encounter. A girl mentions feeling abandoned, wishing she could turn herself into the police. The pressure is building from all sides. Suchan checks his phone to find he's lost most of his followers. Rumors of an investigation have scared people away. They don't want to be connected to the winged figure in the videos. But he doesn't care about those who abandon him. What matters is that he still has Mihui. She's been in the hospital since fainting that day, but finally she's awake. But hope turns to heartbreak in an instant. When Suchan visits Mihui in the hospital, she screams for him to get away. She doesn't recognize him, or worse, she recognizes him too well. Despite his desperate pleas that he's there to help, that he's the same Suchan who showed her kindness, Mihui recoils in terror. The person he cared about most now sees him as a monster. Mihui's rejection cuts deeper than any physical wound. Her words echo in Suchan's mind as he retreats to his room. You monster. His social media notifications mock him with spam messages while his world crumbles around him. Sitting among discarded clothes, he reveals his wings once more. Everything is over because of these cursed appendages that mark him as something other than human.
Desperation drives Suchan to consider the unthinkable, cutting off his wings. He sits on the bathroom floor, crying and clutching his head as the beautiful yet cursed appendages spread behind him. Even in this moment of absolute despair, he can't bring himself to act. The pain would be too much. How pathetic is he that he can't even destroy the source of his misery? 1 month later, the same social isolation continues. Suchan's friends move on without him while he remains trapped in his cycle of exclusion. Like animals in the wild, human groups always have that one individual who doesn't fit in. As he stands on a rooftop overlooking the city, his thoughts turn dark. If he can't belong anywhere, maybe it's time to find peace in a different way.
At the edge of despair, Suchan admits he can't stand the pain anymore. But even suicide is denied to him. His wings won't let him die. They force him to live with this cursed existence, preventing him from finding the escape he desperately seeks. His transformation has trapped him in a life he no longer wants, unable to live as human or die with dignity. Just when all hope seems lost, a mysterious girl appears. She expresses amazement at his wings, wishing she had a pair of her own. Suchan is bewildered by her sudden presence and her attitude. She doesn't see his wings as monstrous. When she asks if he hates them that much, her question cuts to the heart of his self-loathing. Who is this strange girl who sees beauty where he sees only curse? Hope flickers as the girl suggests something impossible, a way to become normal again. Suchan's eyes light up with desperate hope as he asks if it's really possible. She confirms his suspicions about her nature, noting the antennae that mark her as another transformed human. But first, she suggests they find somewhere warm to talk. For the first time in months, Suchan feels the possibility of salvation. The girl insists he must fulfill certain requirements, including a college interview with a professor. Suchan's confusion is obvious. Why should he trust someone he just met? But as they stand by the waiting bus, her confidence suggests she has answers he desperately needs. The vehicle-marked nest hints at a destination that could change everything. As the bus begins to move, the girl makes a promise that strikes at Suchan's deepest need. He won't be alone anymore. Though he can't fully trust her yet, he has nowhere else to go. In his desperation, he agrees to follow her into the unknown. When she pulls out a familiar can of bug spray, his shocked recognition suggests this journey is just beginning. She explains the science behind his transformation. Jungle juice combines insect DNA with human hosts, creating hybrid features like his wings. As she describes the process with disturbing enthusiasm, Suchan grapples with the implications. Why would anyone create such a dangerous substance? His phone searches yield no answers, leaving him to wonder about the conspiracy surrounding this biological weapon. The bus comes to a stop in a dimly lit tunnel where a van waits ominously. The girl casually mentions they've deleted all evidence, but Suchan's confusion only grows. Where exactly are they? What is this place that requires such secrecy? As they stand at the threshold of the unknown, Suchan realizes he's about to enter a world where nothing will ever be the same again. What Suchan sees next defies every expectation. Behind the mountain lies something impossible, a sprawling college campus that shouldn't exist. The girl's words ring with pride as she calls it their very own world. Trees and modern architecture blend seamlessly in this hidden paradise. But Suchan can barely process it. This place called the Nest exists in complete secrecy, a sanctuary hidden from the world above. The jungle-like city bustles with life as Suchan realizes the staggering truth. He's not alone. Hundreds of others walk these streets, all carrying the same burden he does. A confident figure proclaims there's a way back to normalcy, igniting hope in Suchan's heart. But darkness lurks in the shadows. A menacing character with a scythe-like weapon shatters any illusions of safety, warning of a future trapped in laboratory confinement. Terror grins back at Suchan as the Dragonfly reveals himself, a monstrous figure with razor-sharp fangs. His sadistic smile promises nothing but pain. The girl beside Suchan recoils in horror as the truth crashes down around them. Everyone in this bustling plaza shares their fate. They've all been infected by jungle juice. The cheerful crowd suddenly feels more like a gathering of the damned. Sunlight filters through the trees as the girl with butterfly accessories explains their sanctuary with infectious enthusiasm. She calls it university, but her true meaning runs deeper. It's a haven for people like them. Suchan stares in amazement at the sheer number of students walking freely, their insect features on full display. The girl reminds him of her promise before departing for the department office, leaving him alone to explore this new world. In this fantasy-like clearing, Suchan witnesses something extraordinary. A muscular figure with prominent insect features stands confidently by a sparkling pond, his body a perfect fusion of human and bug. He speaks casually about providing honey to insects in exchange for protein, a symbiotic relationship that defies everything Suchan thought he knew. The buzzing of insects draws Suchan's attention, making him realize how deep this transformation goes. The elderly man with wild white hair delights in his bizarre feast. Green insect remains dripping from his chest as he celebrates the circle of life. Suchan watches in absolute horror as the man devours bugs like their delicacies, comparing him to a survival expert gone mad. When the man proudly displays massive odonata wings, Suchan's disgust reaches its peak. He can't escape fast enough from this disturbing encounter with raw nature. The dragonfly's wickedness surfaces as he corners his prey in the sunlit forest, taunting about hidden wings and their potential. His muscular frame looms threateningly over the frightened boy, who trembles at the predator's proximity. A haunting memory echoes, someone calling him a monster, warning him to never return. The boy's green eyes burn with suppressed rage, while an older man watches the confrontation with knowing amusement, calling him a stupid kid. Glass and steel rise majestically against the sky as Suchan enters the sophisticated world of Nest Laboratories. Professor Do-Hyen Ma extends his hand in formal greeting, his beard and cardigan projecting academic authority. Suchan appears nervous but hopeful. This is the moment he's been waiting for. The professor's office overlooks a panoramic view, emphasizing the importance of this meeting. Finally, he's face-to-face with the man who might hold his salvation. Professor Ma promises to reveal the path back to normalcy, pulling out a device that will change everything. Suchan's eyes widen with disbelief. Could the solution really be this simple? The scene shifts to a graduation ceremony where the valedictorian is introduced with the peculiar title Cinderella. Confusion spreads across Suchan's face as he processes this strange designation. Meanwhile, graduates make crude jokes about consuming bug heads, mixing humor with the ceremony's solemn atmosphere. Horror fills the air as someone slurps down a mysterious green concoction. The brown-haired boy watches in shock through his glasses, his green eyes wide with terror at the transformation unfolding before him. A woman emerges from the shadows, now radiating a vibrant pink aura that pulses with dangerous energy. Her confident, almost sinister posture suggests the drink has awakened something powerful within her. The boy can only stammer in amazement at what he's witnessed. In a sterile laboratory setting, The truth about Cinderella emerges. The confident researcher holds up a small blue potion bottle, explaining how they've turned Jungle Juice's own principles against itself. Suchan's excitement is palpable. This solution can restore humans to their original state. His face lights up with hope as he exclaims, "This is exactly what he needs." But his joy crashes when he learns about the limited supply and restrictive conditions. The crushing reality sets in as Suchan learns the impossible requirements. His teeth clench in panic. Restoring everyone would require tremendous effort the school can't provide. The polished adult delivers the devastating news with calm authority. Only the school's best and brightest student receives Cinderella. The girl beside him offers silent support, while modern glass buildings frame this life-altering conversation. Suchan faces an agonizing choice that will determine his entire future. The girl lays out Suchan's options with brutal honesty: live comfortably without hope, or fight for the impossible dream of Cinderella. Her warning about nest difficulty doesn't deter him. His determination blazes as he declares his ability to handle school and grades, demanding immediate transfer. The registration process proves surprisingly smooth, and soon Suchan stands among milling students as a transfer student of practical entomology, ready to begin his academic battle. Under the sunny campus trees, students discuss course registration with urgent intensity. The helpful girl speaks rapidly about requirements while Suchan examines his confusing notebook. Strange course names, like Understanding Nest Protection, leave him bewildered. Did he receive the wrong materials? His anxiety mounts as he realizes how unprepared he is for this bizarre academic world. At least his encounter with Professor Ma left a positive impression in this sea of uncertainty. Suchan prepares to register for Professor Ma's course, clutching his red book while questioning the university's unusual requirement for physical presence during registration. A student counts down at a computer terminal, emphasizing the typical need for internet cafe speed. But suddenly, chaos erupts behind him. A woman with long silver hair delivers a devastating kick to a man in black, her teal outfit flowing with a violent motion. Suchan freezes in shock, his book trembling in his hands. The campus grass becomes a battlefield as a fierce girl with light hair unleashes her fury on a spiky-haired boy. Her sports outfit offers no protection to her opponent as she sends him crashing down with a powerful kick. Students watch in disbelief. How can such brutal fighting happen in the middle of a college campus? The girl shouts accusations while onlookers cheer for more violence. Suchan can only wonder if scorpions count as insects while chaos reigns around him. Nab recoils in shock as a new threat appears on the scene. The nerdy boy with glasses stares in recognition alongside other onlookers. They know exactly who this girl is. With pink highlights streaming behind her, she lands with explosive force that shakes the ground. The sound echoes across campus as Nab sprawls helplessly, cursing the chaos she brings. His frustrated muttering reveals this is just another day of violence at their unusual school. Huijin Park stands with commanding presence, her long pink hair and black outfit marking her as someone of importance. Suchan's shock is evident as he learns this fierce fighter is actually the class president. Her confident posture with arms crossed radiates authority that intimidates him completely. A casual student asks if he's ready for registration, while Suchan's mind races with overwhelming thoughts. How can he possibly survive college surrounded by people this dangerous and unpredictable? Anxiety gnaws at Suchan as he contemplates his strange new reality. The familiar comfort of a normal college experience feels forever lost to him. His doubts multiply as he focuses on his singular goal: securing Professor Ma's course through registration. The highlighted notes in his hands represent his only hope for salvation. He approaches the modern classroom with determination, knocking on the door where a tall, welcoming figure in a black suit greets him warmly. Professor G's muscular frame and tattooed forearms project an intimidating presence as he discusses the new transfer student with another instructor. his long white hair and beard frame a face filled with skepticism about Suchan Jang's chances. The concern in his voice is evident. This will be the boy's first registration experience. Meanwhile, a nervous student with glasses grips his hands tightly, declaring his own pessimistic assessment. The tension builds as faculty doubt meets student determination. The announcement rings out like a battle cry. Course registration begins. Students immediately abandon their posts, leaving the nerdy boy with glasses staring in complete confusion. His desperate questions about registration go unanswered as everyone flees the scene. June leaps from his seat with urgent concern, while a stern older man with intense eyes delivers an ominous warning about survival tactics. The empty classroom, with its solitary desk, emphasizes how alone and unprepared Suchan truly is. Suchan leans out the window with mounting anxiety, watching students scatter in all directions without understanding why. His green eyes reflect confusion and fear as he questions their mass exodus. Outside, a fantastical figure soars through the lush forest. A woman with flowing black hair and insect-like wings, grinning with manic delight. Her triumphant cry echoes the beginning of something momentous, while the ominous warning resonates. Only the strong will survive this academic battlefield. A girl with vibrant green hair launches herself through the air, her colorful outfit streaming behind her as she shouts with wild abandon. Below, Suchan watches the unfolding madness with intense shock, his expression revealing complete bewilderment at everyone's erratic behavior. A young boy with distinctive antenna-like hair accessories approaches him, offering to explain the chaos surrounding them. The Jungle Juice logo appears as if to remind everyone what strange world they've entered. Suchan's shock deepens as he learns the twisted truth about registration. He must physically hunt down professors hiding in the mountains. His glasses reflect his disbelief as a fellow student explains this bizarre system. The professors scatter like prey, forcing students to find them before receiving USB drives for course registration. Only 16 students per professor will succeed. Suchan declares his ambitious goal of becoming valedictorian, but the mountain wilderness stretching before him suggests this will be far from ordinary academic competition. Sunlight filters through the peaceful forest as the boy with the fuzzy collar admires Suchan's determination despite the overwhelming challenges ahead. Suchan's anxiety is palpable as he realizes how late he's starting this academic hunt. He questions his strategy, wondering if higher ground might give him the advantage he desperately needs. The serene woodland setting contrast sharply with his internal turmoil. A sudden sound behind him breaks the contemplative moment, hinting at unexpected developments. Suchan's dragonfly wings carry him high above the dense forest canopy, his excitement evident as he gains a bird's-eye view of the competition. From his aerial vantage point, he can track other students' movements toward distant flags marking professors' locations. His strategic mind immediately identifies Professor Ma's likely position, but his triumph turns to horror as he witnesses brutal fighting below. Students aren't just competing, they're engaging in vicious combat for academic supremacy. The battle intensifies as a determined girl with short dark hair fights ruthlessly, shouting her intention to eliminate as many competitors as possible. Explosive impacts mark each devastating blow she delivers. Suchan watches in disbelief from above, finally understanding the brutal reality. Students are literally fighting for seats in Professor Ma's class. His time is running out, but he can't afford to waste more precious moments observing this academic warfare. The colorful flags beckon from across the mountainous landscape. Suchan crashes onto the hilltop labeled Point A, his landing far from graceful as dirt flies around him. Despite the painful impact that leaves his eyes burning from the high-speed flight, he's managed to reach his destination. An older man with a mustache sits casually nearby, holding a drink and book while observing the chaos. He greets Suchan with mild surprise as the exhausted student acknowledges his successful but clumsy arrival. The distant island marked as nest reveals the true scale of this competitive hunt. In the serene forest setting, Professor Ma hands over the precious USB drive to Suchan with professional efficiency. The sound of the transaction emphasizes its importance as Suchan receives his ticket to academic salvation. His excitement overflows as he realizes this is the final USB available for the course. The professor's warning about not losing it carries weight. This small device represents Suchan's entire future. With triumph glowing on his face, he believes he's one step closer to becoming normal again. The forest atmosphere shifts ominously as a bearded man checks his device, announcing the next phase with dangerous satisfaction. All USB drives have been distributed, but this marks the beginning of the real battle. Suchan's confusion mounts as his phone buzzes with an unexpected text message. His green eyes reflect worry as he reads about targets, not understanding the sinister implications. The peaceful woodland suddenly feels far more threatening as unknown dangers close in around him. A relaxed, muscular man lounges in his hammock, commenting with amusement about the transfer student's success in acquiring a user list. His casual demeanor contrasts with the growing tension in the forest. A confident woman in black points to her device, declaring that the game is far from over. Her words carry ominous implications as Suchan finds himself surrounded by threatening sounds, buzzes and dings that suggest he's being hunted. Explosive sounds in the distance confirm the danger is real. A thunderous boom shatters the forest peace, causing Suchan to widen his eyes in shock. A fierce character with fiery red hair delivers a devastating blow that cracks nearby trees, the impact reverberating through the woodland. The massive longhorn beetle he's grappling with buzzes aggressively, its size and strength making it a formidable opponent. Suchan watches in bewildered horror as this erratic fighter engages with the giant insect. What could possibly drive someone to start such a dangerous confrontation? Terror strikes as the whip spider emerges with multiple writhing limbs, demanding Suchan's USB with murderous intent. His horrific features and whip-like arms create a nightmare scenario in the dense forest. Suchan's face contorts with fear as he realizes he's being hunted over the precious device. The monster's relentless pursuit forces him to dodge attacks, while his mind reels at this twisted version of course registration. What kind of sick system turns academic competition into life-or-death combat? Desperation drives them toward a tree hollow as danger closes in. The boy with bright green eyes urgently guides his companion towards safety, his anxiety palpable. They flee through the forest with frantic speed, their footsteps echoing through the woodland. Inside the hollow, they catch their breath with relief, acknowledging how close they came to disaster. The boy expresses gratitude for being saved once again, while his nervous companion downplays his own kindness, deflecting praise with characteristic humility. The shorter boy reveals his true nature with a wicked smirk, calling his companion a smart moron before delivering a paralyzing sting. The taller boy's confusion quickly turns to horror as his body becomes unresponsive. A giant cartoonish bee illustration emphasizes the honeybee's stinger now coursing through his system. The victim slumps against the tree, unable to move while his betrayer explains the temporary paralysis. What seemed like salvation has become another trap in this merciless academic battlefield. The smug boy with spiky hair delivers harsh truth about competition, his taunting smile revealing the cold reality of their situation. He mockingly questions why any student would help their rivals, emphasizing how every person here threatens his chances. The nervous boy reflects desperately on his valedictorian dreams while watching his USB drive being stolen. The betrayer's cruel laughter echoes through the forest as he suggests trying again next year. The precious device slips from helpless fingers, taking away all hope of salvation. Suchan stretches desperately toward a flying insect, his determination evident despite the paralysis slowing his movements. The whip spider's voice taunts him about the venom's effects while he struggles against time. His bright green eyes glow with focus as he realizes catching this insect is his only path back to normalcy. The forest blurs around him as he channels every ounce of dragonfly instinct into this crucial moment. The buzzing grows louder as his salvation flies just within reach. The narrative shifts to reveal the dragonfly's incredible hunting mastery. Against a vivid blue background, the dragonfly demonstrates why it's nature's perfect predator. With a 95% success rate in catching targets, these creatures possess extraordinary abilities. Their compound eyes consist of thousands of honeycomb-shaped lenses, creating vision beyond human comprehension. Suchan begins to understand his transformation as he experiences an overwhelming desire to catch his prey, his posture mimicking the dragonfly's dynamic precision. The honeybee boy watches in shock as Suchan executes a powerful aerial kick, his transformation complete. The fascinating qualities of dragonfly eyes continue to narrate their perfect hunting abilities. A warning notice about strong language signals a tonal shift as someone finishes their work at a computer keyboard. The confident girl with pink hair sits at her desk, noting they still have hours before registration closes. The forest battle and computer lab exist in parallel, highlighting the dual nature of this academic warfare. Back in the classroom, students speculate about the transfer kid's survival chances. The confident boy with orange hair asks Weijin directly while she contemplates Suchan's situation thoughtfully. Meanwhile, in the forest, a boy with glasses sits relaxed under a tree, delivering ominous advice about guarding one's life to become valedictorian. His warning culminates in explosive violence as a punch labeled KA-POW sends a device flying through the air, emphasizing the deadly stakes of academic competition. Panic consumes Suchan as his precious USB drive soars through the air, far beyond his immediate reach. His desperate sprint toward the device reveals how much this single item means to his future. A rival taunts him from the background, laughing at his misfortune with cruel satisfaction. The competitive atmosphere intensifies as Suchan realizes how easily his salvation can be stolen. His determination blazes as he races across the lush landscape, the clear blue sky contrasting with his internal turmoil. The stakes escalate dramatically as Suchan watches someone falling from dangerous heights. His moral compass battles against his selfish needs. The person could die from such a fall, but the girl is escaping with his USB drive. His shock intensifies when he realizes his opponent fainted from just one punch, making the fall even more perilous. The mountainous backdrop emphasizes the deadly height, while Suchan faces an impossible choice between saving a life and securing his future. Moral conviction overrides selfish desire, as the shorter boy declares he can't let someone die. His humanity shines through despite the academic competition threatening his future. The forest setting emphasizes the wild nature of their circumstances as he awkwardly hangs from a tree, having acted on his conscience. His distress is evident as he realizes the USB thief has escaped during his moment of heroism. The conflict between survival and morality plays out in this overgrown wilderness. By the water's edge, panic overtakes the spiky-haired boy as he contemplates his desperate situation. Sweat beads on his forehead as he questions whether to seek another USB drive. A sudden crash into the nearby water adds chaos to his mounting problems. His body refuses to obey him, the venom still coursing through his system, making movement impossible. The fear of death creeps in as he realizes this academic registration might actually cost him his life. Consciousness slowly returns to Suchan as he processes the word pathetic from an unseen voice. His disorientation gives way to recognition as the white-bearded man from the woods appears before him. The old man's confident smirk contrasts with Suchan's vulnerable position on the ground. Time has slipped away while he was unconscious, and the man's urgent warning about returning quickly suggests something important has changed. The approaching sunset hints at how much precious time has been lost. Professor G's muscular frame radiates authority as he dismisses Suchan's desperate pleas with cold indifference. The young man frantically explains his attacks, stolen USB, and venomous paralysis, seeking some form of justice for the foul play. His distress is palpable as he gestures wildly, believing he deserves consideration for his special circumstances. But the professor's dismissive response about worthless idiots makes it clear that strength is the only currency that matters in this brutal academic system. The harsh reality of their world becomes crystal clear as the professor explains the dangerous truth. Students walk around campus armed to the teeth every single day, making Suchan's experience just another Tuesday. The muscular man's intimidating smile emphasizes that this isn't a place for reading books peacefully. His sarcastic comment about recycling shows complete disregard for Suchan's suffering. The filtered sunlight through trees creates an ironic, peaceful atmosphere while discussing this violent educational system. Alone in the sunlit forest, Suchan confronts his complete failure. His sleeveless hoodie reveals his muscular build, but it couldn't save him from this academic defeat. Self-doubt consumes him as he contemplates the unthinkable. What if he had let that kid fall to his death? Could sacrificing another's life have secured his registration? The horrifying thought twists his face with revulsion. His clenched fist slams down in explosive fury as he realizes how close he came to losing his humanity. The professor's casual instruction to recycle feels like salt in Suchan's wounds as he processes his failure. His bewilderment grows as he examines the empty container, wondering what exactly needs recycling. The shadowy figure of the elderly man lingers in the background, adding to the oppressive atmosphere. With only 5 minutes remaining, time continues its relentless countdown. The soft forest light contrasts cruelly with Suchan's inner darkness as hope fades away completely. Professor G questions his colleague's sudden change of heart with skeptical amusement. His surprise at the easy USB handout reveals this was an unexpected development, especially for a new student he supposedly disapproved of. The mysterious reason behind this decision hangs in the air as the professor suggests deeper motivations at play. His final declaration about doing things himself carries ominous implications. Someone needs to beat sense into Suchan, and this muscular authority figure seems ready to take on that responsibility personally. Time is slipping away like sand through desperate fingers. Suchan's green eyes burn with determination as sweat drips down his face. He knows speed is everything now, but memories of his last crash landing haunt him. The wind and dust at high velocity will tear at his eyes mercilessly. Then, a moment of brilliance. His glasses. The simple solution that could change everything. Now Suchan can unleash his true speed. Light radiates from him as he prepares to soar faster than ever before. Meanwhile, other students mock the desperation in the woods, choosing to wait near campus for easy prey. Their laughter dies as they spot an incoming target. The horned boy grins wickedly, eager for the hunt. The game is about to begin. Chaos erupts as the ambush begins. Suchan stares in bewilderment at the pink-haired girl behind him. His attackers curse his unexpected speed. He's faster than they anticipated. Their plan to steal from the lab room crumbles as Suchan breaks free from their grasp. Bodies tumble in the dirt. The explosive impact of KPOW echoes through the forest. The stern woman with pink hair restores order with iron authority. Fighting in the building is strictly forbidden, and she won't tolerate violations. Her surprise at Professor G's text about taking responsibility for a transfer student reveals unexpected developments. As the new student races down the hall with renewed energy, a course registration form receives a decisive clack, marking a pivotal moment. In the darkness of his room, Suchan's fingers fly across the keyboard in a desperate race against time. His glasses reflect the screen's glow as the registration notification finally appears. Practical combat for insects, not what he wanted, but salvation nonetheless. Relief washes over him as he wipes the sweat from his brow. Just in time, Suchan allows himself a moment of hope. Maybe he can still chase his dreams of valedictorian. But another notification shatters his brief respite. The message on his screen puzzles him completely. Orientation begins immediately after course registration. The day refuses to end. In the lecture hall, electronic beeps echo ominously around him. Security guards in red uniforms block Suchan's path with iron grips. Only Nest students can enter this restricted building, they declare. His protests fall on deaf ears. No student ID means no entry. Panic rises in his voice as he explains he was never issued one. Then Salvation arrives in pink hair and black leather, offering the ID card that will change everything. Huijin walks beside Suchan through the dimly lit corridor, her authoritative presence somehow comforting. His visible ID badge marks him as officially belonging now. Their conversation about class selections reveals his stubborn optimism despite setbacks. She reassures him, valedictorian might not be easy, but it's not impossible. Hope flickers in the industrial lighting of the lecture hall entrance. Suchan enters the lecture hall to a symphony of whispers and recognition. Students point excitedly. He's the celebrity from a movie theater incident, the one from the viral videos. Their fascination both thrills and terrifies him. But not everyone is pleased. A red-haired student's glare cuts through the crowd, carrying memories of past chaos and media storms. The mystery of his vanished evidence finally unravels. They deleted everything. Every trace of his public exposure erased like it never happened. Suchan marvels at how thoroughly his nightmare simply disappeared. Huijin tells him to ignore the hostile voices, revealing that those around her were protecting her. A shared understanding passes through the classroom like an unspoken secret. Gratitude fills Suchan's heart as he thinks of Huijin's kindness. Despite the trouble he's caused her, she still tries to lift his spirits. Her compassion shines like a beacon in his darkest hour. As she leaves to run an errand for the professor, his bashful agreement betrays deeper feelings. But cynical eyes watch from across the room, questioning everyone's true allegiances. A blond boy steps forward in confusion as tension crackles through the air. Suchan expresses joy at being reunited with his fellow classmates, but his happiness is short-lived. A muscular figure bursts into the room with explosive frustration, fed up with waiting in uncomfortable chairs. His casual mention of quitting school once carries an ominous undertone. He needs a favor from everyone. The declaration hits like a thunderbolt. I'm going to be valedictorian. Shock ripples through the classroom as students struggle to process this audacious claim. The muscular boy's confidence borders on madness as he demands their student IDs for the entire semester. His mention of needing to get his hands on that Cinderella shit reveals darker motivations lurking beneath his academic ambitions. Suchan zips past his attacker with incredible velocity, moving like a fastball through the air. The red-haired man barely has time to comment on his speed before disaster strikes. The sickening sound of whack followed by thwack tells the brutal story. Suchan lies unconscious in bed, bruised and battered, groaning as consciousness slowly returns to his broken body. Suchan awakens in the sterile brightness of Nest University's health center, disorientation clouding his vision. The dark-haired girl beside him explains where he is with calm authority. Panic seizes him as he realizes his student ID is gone, stolen by his attacker. But her composed promise to help him get a replacement offers a lifeline in his moment of despair. Concern for Huijin weighs heavy in the air as the group grapples with their shocking losses. The injured boy's survival brings relief, but their missing IDs create a new crisis entirely. Confusion spreads like wildfire. How could this have happened? The pink-haired girl's calm demeanor and the class president's efforts to fix the situation provide the only comfort in this chaos. Anger radiates from the bandaged blonde boy as he berates his companion for letting Huijin escape. But Suchan's mind races with darker possibilities. Why steal everyone's IDs if only the top students matter? The terrible realization dawns. This isn't just about eliminating competition. His thoughts turn to Huijin and the critical decision she might face. The sound of DUN amplifies his growing dread. By the dark lake, Huijin confronts the group with steely determination. Her pink hair catches moonlight as she asks if they'll return the IDs peacefully. The spiky-haired boy's derisive laughter provides her answer. He dismisses her threats with cruel confidence, believing she can't intimidate him. But his casual mention of not needing the IDs reveals this was always part of a larger plan. The night explodes into violence as Huijin's kick connects with devastating force. The muscular man staggers, cursing her with rage as pain shoots through his body. Her graceful movements flow like water as she dodges and weaves. But her opponent in the red outfit has a sinister idea. What if he simply drops all the IDs into the dark water below? Huijin transforms before their eyes, her true nature revealed. The giant water bug, most powerful predator among aquatic insects, faces its match. Her confident declaration that this is her turf now proves prophetic as explosive impacts rock the water. The massive creature's glossy body and menacing eyes mean nothing against her aquatic dominance. Boom and wham echo across the lake. Terror fills the water as the blond boy grips his victim with murderous intent. His bandaged face twists with cruel satisfaction as he explains his plan. Make this look like an accidental drowning. No one will suspect murder when they find the body. The dark-haired boy gasps for air, fear and desperation etched across his face as death closes in around him. The distant explosion of kaboom shatters the night's tension. Confusion spreads through the group as they question what just crashed nearby. Huijin's confident facade crumbles as her gasp reveals genuine alarm. Her eyes lock onto something horrible happening at the lake's edge. The sight transforms her anger into pure rage as she spits her contempt for the pond's scum piece of shit before her. Shock ripples through the onlookers as they witness an unexpected arrival. The boy in the blue jacket smirks with cold confidence, recognizing the flyer from their previous encounter. But the dark-haired boy's eyes blaze with supernatural green light as he declares his ability to predict movements. The power coursing through him suggests this confrontation is far from over. Huijin screams for Suchan to get away from the deadly threat, her voice cutting through the chaos like a blade. She believes in her own abilities, confident she can take on this aquatic monster. But Suchan's determination blazes as he prepares to engage despite the overwhelming odds. The giant water bug's advantage in its native element makes this a battle of life and death. The blond boy's grip tightens as he threatens to drag Suchan into the depths. Suchan recognizes their desperate situation. They're outnumbered and fighting on their enemy's terms. The man holding the student IDs mocks their predicament with cruel indifference. As the top student from last semester, Suchan knows he's a primary target. Every second near this lake brings them closer to doom. At the lake's edge, Huijin attempts to shoulder the burden alone, claiming this was her mess from the beginning. But the green-haired boy's smile carries the weight of promises made. He reminds her of his vow when he brought her to school, that she would never be alone again. Her retort proves his point as reinforcements stand ready behind him. The sound of thwack signals the battle's true beginning. The blue-jacketed fighter strikes with devastating precision. His opponent staggers under the brutal assault as the massive green katydid looms menacingly overhead. Haizong's unexpected recovery adds another variable to this deadly equation. The red-haired monster's frustration grows as he demands his student back. But Suchan sees through the ambush attempt, his knowing smirk promising that this fight is far from over. The chase intensifies as Huijin weaves through the air with deadly grace. Her feint maneuver puzzles her anxious ally. Was it truly a mistake? The open space seems to favor their muscular opponent as he adapts his flight pattern. No longer flying straight, his unpredictable movements make him a nearly impossible target. The sound of swish and zip punctuate their high-speed aerial dance. The blond boy combines dragonfly speed with devastating body weight, creating a killing blow that no ordinary human could survive. His punch connects with bone-crushing force as Suchan screams in agony. But doubt creeps into the attacker's mind. Will the water cushion the damage? Even he's uncertain if this brutal assault will be enough to finish his determined opponent. Huijin attempts diplomacy by the darkening lake, suggesting they work together since they all want the same thing, Cinderella. But words mean nothing when violence erupts. Her opponent grabs her from behind, triumphantly declaring his success. Her powerful retaliation kicks with the force of POW as the Red Ribbon Girl reveals her bloodthirsty intentions. Diplomacy dies in the water splash. The tide turns as Haizong drags his opponent from the water with iron determination. His declaration that this is no longer the water bug's territory echoes with authority. The shocked opponent realizes his advantage has vanished completely. With devastating technique marked by whip and boom, Haizong demonstrates that on solid ground, he controls the battlefield completely. Rage consumes the red-haired opponent as he condemns their methods, even in pursuit of Cinderella. A calm boy with glasses poses the haunting question: what's the point of becoming human again when there's nothing humane left in their actions? Huijin stands triumphant in the shallow water, her diving suit gleaming in the moonlight. The student IDs have been reclaimed.
In a quiet aftermath, the wooden dormitory feels like a sanctuary. Suchan stands before boxes labeled Nest, reflecting on how they returned all the stolen IDs to their rightful owners. The girl with dark hair expresses guilt for the chaos with an apologetic smile. Though he missed orientation and didn't become the hero he hoped to be, Suchan realizes he's found something more valuable: a new home.
The spacious dorm room buzzes with anticipation as the teal-jacketed boy engages in friendly conversation about drinking habits. The blonde boy's confident posture suggests mischief brewing. When the pink-haired girl enters carrying shopping bags, her stylish appearance and playful energy shifts the entire atmosphere. The question hangs in the air: where's the fun in two guys drinking alone? Camaraderie fills the cozy room as the tall girl invites Suchan to join their gathering. Laughter erupts over his broken nose, a badge of honor from his encounter with Nest's state-of-the-art technology. But the mood shifts dramatically to a dark forest where a menacing figure in black and red discusses a failed assassination mission. His casual dismissal carries chilling implications. The assignment was never about success, only chaos. In the mysterious forest, the horned woman lectures her subordinate about the laws of nature. Creatures that fail to hunt face extinction. His desperate pleas to kill Cinderella fall on deaf ears as she dismisses his obsession. The ominous buzzing fills the air before a brutal slash sprays blood across the darkness. Her mocking words cut deeper than any blade. He can't even defeat worthless freshmen. The purple-haired woman's calm reassurance to her victim contrasts sharply with the horror of the situation. Two men in matching red shirts exchange knowing looks. They finally found what they've been searching for. As a new day dawns in the practical entomology classroom, Suchan nervously anticipates his first combat course. His friend's comforting gesture can't ease the anxiety gnawing at his heart. Gratitude flows through the bright classroom as the dark-haired boy thanks his supportive friend. The blonde boy's nervousness seems justified. Their relief at it being only the first day proves premature. A muscular figure with a stark white beard and heavily tattooed arm commands attention. His chainsaw revs ominously as he explains how test scores will determine their final grades. Failure, he warns, has dire consequences. Chaos erupts on Nest University's training grounds as students flee in terror. Suchan gasps in shock, questioning the sanity of their situation. The sight of Professor Junji aggressively pursuing them with wild abandon defies all logic. What should have been a normal class has transformed into a nightmare of survival. The professor's intimidating reputation suddenly makes terrifying sense. The dark-haired girl explains the brutal necessity of their training, learning to fight using insect abilities against predators like the praying mantis. Suchan's shocked recognition of her as the girl from the movie theater adds another layer to the mystery. The silver-haired man's explanation about criminals using insect abilities as weapons justifies their harsh methods. This isn't just education, it's preparation for war. Terror grips Suchan as the white-haired professor delivers his harsh ultimatum. Only the strong survive to win Cinderella. The forest shadows seem to close in as he announces their deadly game of hide-and-seek using insect abilities. The roar of his chainsaw and the promise that failure means being caught forever transforms this from a test into a fight for survival. How can anyone force students into this madness? The old professor moves with impossible speed, his chainsaw cutting through the air like lightning. Students cry out in disbelief. How could someone so ancient be this quick? The compound vision of the Dragonfly allows him to anticipate every movement, every desperate escape attempt. The sounds of slash and boom echo through the forest as his weapon finds its marks with terrifying precision. Suchan stares in horror at the monster before them, a professor transformed into something beyond human comprehension. The pink-haired girl trembles beside him as their instructor proves his dragonfly heritage through impossible speed and perception. His roar about daydreaming cuts through their shock. If Professor G catches any of them, they fail the course immediately. There's no time for fear, only flight. Haizong dashes away with playful defiance, suggesting the professor take a break from his relentless pursuit. The old man's demand for manners falls on deaf ears as his student employs clever smokescreen tactics. The girl's warning about giving away their direction shows quick thinking under pressure. Their humorous decision to retreat for now masks the very real danger they're fleeing from. Mechanical sounds clack ominously as someone calls out to check if their captive still lives. The woman with pink hair expresses sympathy for the poor creature's plight, questioning the cruelty of its treatment. Her attempts to rescue the trapped victim are thwarted by impenetrable security measures. But hope arrives in the form of a cheerful boy with an aqua jacket, proudly displaying the security pass he somehow obtained. The hooded woman with purple hair playfully embraces the confused boy, praising his theft of the professor's security pass. His bewildered questions about how he ended up there and why he committed the crime go unanswered. Her dismissive response about not worrying his sweet little head carries sinister undertones. In the background, a muscular figure with notched arms asks the chilling question, are they really insect humans? Horror fills the air as the green-haired monster grins with predatory hunger, claiming the frightened student smells tasty. Sharp teeth gleam in the darkness as another figure taunts the victim forward. The command to dig in precedes the sickening sound of chomp as terror becomes reality. A woman in a sleek black dress holds a blood-stained snack, her satisfied smile revealing the true depths of this nightmare. The pink-haired girl consumes something with disturbing fascination, her clinical interest more chilling than any scream. Meanwhile, in the forest, exhausted students complain about their hour-long flight from the chainsaw-wielding professor. Their soreness and frustration at this stupid test reveals how the bizarre chase has pushed them beyond normal limits. What kind of education is this madness? Anxiety consumes the black-haired boy as he kneels in the forest, lamenting his lost opportunity in Professor Ma's course. The girl in the sleek training suit tries to comfort him, promising that class will end soon. Her explanation that this is simply the professor's teaching method offers little solace. As they whisper warnings about the approaching instructor, two girls tumble dramatically in the underbrush nearby. Ominous black boots step forward as crisis strikes. The green-haired girl kneels beside her blonde friend, panic evident in her voice as she diagnoses a sprained ankle. But the muscular professor shows no mercy. Injury means nothing when survival is at stake. His intimidating presence looms over them as he delivers the harsh truth. Whether you sprain an ankle or lose a leg entirely, hesitation means death. The sound of KIL punctuates his lethal warning. A thunderous clonk echoes through the forest as chaos erupts. The dark-haired student raises his hands defensively, crying out that this is overkill. But the white-haired professor stands unmoved, his scarred face demanding answers. What the hell is happening here?
In the dappled forest light, the pink-haired girl smirks as she speaks of survival tactics. The professor warns his trembling student about dangerous predators like panthers. With only an hour left in class, he makes a deadly proposition. Land just one hit, and everything changes. The professor's words cut deep. Understanding your abilities is everything. The dark-haired woman mentions ridding themselves of dragonfly abilities. But something sinister emerges from the shadows, a figure with messy hair and a manic grin, sniffing the air hungrily. He recognizes a familiar scent. Defiance blazes in the student's eyes as he shouts his challenge. He'll never survive. But the old professor's calm response crushes his bravado. At his slow speed, he couldn't even catch a bug. One hit, that's all it should take, right? Panic grips the students as they realize the truth. The dark-haired boy's green eyes widen in alarm. Expulsion looms over them all. The girl with the pink streak voices their collective fear. But the white-bearded professor possesses compound vision. They're being hunted like prey. Gotcha! The boy lunges forward with desperate hope, but his triumph turns to horror. Wham! The professor strikes back with devastating force. Does he expect his prey to simply stand still and wait for death? The pink-haired girl watches in shock. Lying defeated on the forest floor, the black-haired student learns a terrible truth. The professor reveals himself. He, too, is an insect human infected by jungle juice. But his abilities come with a deadly price. His chainsaw gleams ominously in the dappled sunlight. A dragonfly figurine arcs through the air, and the boy's reaction is pure terror. Eek. The silver-haired professor stands calm and composed, explaining how dragonflies are harmless creatures. But why does this simple insect trigger such overwhelming fear? The lesson cuts deep. You must accept what you are. An insect. The words hit like physical blows as the green-eyed student grapples with his identity crisis. He's hated bugs his entire life. How can he become one? Applause echoes mockingly through the trees. Professor G's brilliant lesson draws praise from an unexpected observer. The elegant woman applauds his intimidating methods, admiring how he weaves fear into profound education. But her appreciation quickly turns to disgust. Thwack! A swift strike reveals her true nature. Terror strikes without warning. A piercing scream fills the air as the black-haired boy watches in horror. Stab! The blonde figure drives a knife deep into the red-haired victim. Poison courses through veins as a hooded figure emerges from the shadows. The sinister figure speaks of feeding, making the student a nice little morsel to snack on. Confusion grips our protagonist. Is this woman part of the school? The memories flood back. Thump! Screech! It's happening again, just like that day at the movie theater. Professor! The girl's desperate cry echoes through the darkness. Blood stains the boy's shirt as that familiar sense of helplessness crashes over him. Screech! From the shadows emerges a nightmare made flesh. We meet again, Dragonfly. The past has come to collect its due. Absolute fear. The word captures everything as tears stream down the boy's face. This monster was supposed to be locked away in isolation, but he's recovered like a savage beast after feeding. The confident man with black hair stretches, energized and ready to hunt again. Stop right there. The dark-haired girl's voice cuts through the chaos like a blade. Students can't fight outsiders without permission from Nest. It's the law. But rules mean nothing when lives hang in the balance. Now's not the time to worry about rules. The bet's terms echo with deadly finality. Expelled if caught. Right? The boy's grin turns predatory as realization dawns. Since he's no longer a student, he doesn't need to follow the damn rules anymore. Suchan, stop. But it's too late to turn back. Suchan's determination burns bright. After letting fear control him before, it's his turn now. But the professor's harsh lesson cuts deep. Why teach running instead of fighting? In this world, the strong devour the weak. Survival is never guaranteed for any creature. Nice try, but too bad.
The curly-haired maniac smirks as steel clashes against steel. Slash. The blue-shirt defender holds his ground, but dread fills his thoughts. Those razor-sharp front legs are death incarnate, but distance might be salvation. I'll nail him. The dark-haired girl launches forward with deadly intent. But the green-haired monster just laughs. It only itches like a damn bug bite. What the hell? His skin is rock solid. An embodiment finally works for our hero. Frustration boils over as the blonde fighter realizes his futility. He just can't break through. The carnivorous ones are always hard to control, the mysterious figure size. Hurry up and kill him before those nest pests arrive. Time is running out. Consciousness returns slowly to the dark-haired boy as his friend desperately tries to wake him. Wake the fuck up, Haizong. But the hooded girl with eye-like embellishments grows impatient. The venom is already wearing off. Their time window is closing fast. Shit. The blonde boy's body remains numb, paralyzed and useless. Meanwhile, the bloody defender makes his desperate stand. I'll buy us some time. Just run while you can. Hurry. But can his broken body hold out against overwhelming odds? In quieter moments, the blonde boy teases about romantic interests and heroic rescues. The dark-haired student deflects awkwardly, insisting it's not like that. But his inner conflict runs deeper. Nobody appreciates help from strangers anymore. It just felt like the right thing to do. Grab. The desperate lunge fails as speed betrays expectations. What? How did he escape so fast? The katydid's powerful legs propel him multiple yards in a single bound. While grasshoppers are portrayed as lazy, katydids are deadly, efficient predators. Do the right thing, huh? The blonde boy's sarcasm cuts deep as he calls his friend the biggest sucker he's ever met. Is getting beaten down really the definition of doing right? The hooded girl suggests abandoning the chase. There's no use pursuing them now. The scent trail leads them forward, but wisdom pulls them back. What? You want to return and catch the praying mantis? Haven't you learned anything from today's lesson? When outmatched, you run. Look at how injured you are right now. The terrible logic becomes clear. If they let this monster escape, he'll target someone else eventually. But how can they beat something that didn't even flinch? The professor contacted the school for help. They just need to keep the beast busy until reinforcements arrive. Rustling leaves signal hidden movement in the forest depths. The girl senses an unseen presence lurking nearby. The bloodied professor assures her they're probably long gone, but promises more prey soon enough. Wait, why is the scent coming from behind them? How did he get here so fast? The purple-clad figure makes his swift move, but Suchan's mind races. What does he have up his sleeve? Glowing vines suddenly ensnare the enemy. Is it those glasses? Pow! A quick strike changes everything. Too bad, kid. The green-haired predator's confidence radiates as he dodges every attack. His skin remains impenetrably solid while claiming to be the strongest predator. The spiky-haired fighter desperately strategizes. He needs to find some way to damage that rock-hard defense. Bop! The dark-haired figure leaps through the air with his retrieved weapon. The worried girl tends to the fallen professor as he explains what was taken from him. The blonde boy frantically calls out for Suchan, claiming he's got what was requested. Vrockik! The weapon finds its grip. The final gambit unfolds as the dark-haired girl charges forward, massive sword gleaming in the forest light. Her fierce expression promises no mercy as she raises the blade high. Chop him up! The command echoes through the trees. Vroom! Will this desperate strike finally end the nightmare, or has the real battle just begun?